Picked with a road win over Indiana. We'll see the highlights. We'll also meet Obi Alibo, a Nigerian nightmare for Michigan opponents. And we'll look ahead to next week's showdown of showdowns. We'll scout Ohio State. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by Diet Mountain Dew. How Dew does diet. By Pontiac, official performance machines of Michigan and the NCAA. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? By LaSalle Bank, proud to support the University of Michigan football program. LaSalle Bank, making more possible. And by Big Boy Restaurants. Oh boy, Big Boy, celebrating 70 years as your hometown family restaurant. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. Well, the Wolverines got past Indiana 34-3 and set up the showdown of next week. Now, everybody wants to talk about next week, but we can't just yet. We still have to talk.
We could if we wanted to.
We could if we wanted to,
yeah.
But if we did, everybody in the control room would get mad.
So we don't want that.
And we don't want that. Although, I don't know. You know, it's kind of fun to see them go off the handle. Here's the deal. Indiana was a game you were concerned with. They had a mobile quarterback, and your team really responded, I think, the way you wanted them to, especially in the first quarter.
Well, we came out, Jim, we did a great job of mixing the run and the pass. Our defense got us the ball back. We got two very good drives to start the game, and you're right, that's exactly the way you want to play on the road.
And people really realize Indiana came to this game with, on an emotional level, they really wanted to get after Michigan because of Coach Hepner and his remarks and some of the things that went on. And you had to match their intensity early, and I thought you did.
Well, they had a lot to play for. They still do. They're one game from being bowl eligible. Terry's done a great job there. And as you mentioned, this Lewis is an elusive guy. Guy's a lot of skill. And I was most worried about the return game, the punt and kickoff. So, you know, it was a big challenge for our special teams as well.
We go to the highlights. This is your first possession, and you couldn't ask for a better first possession in this football game.
I run the bootleg pass, and you know, Chad sees that they don't have anybody in the strong side flat, so he gets the ball out to Steve. Here, Mike Hart makes a Mike Hart type of run, you know.
It's like one of those, how does he do it?
He bounces outside, finds a cutback, and makes a positive out of a negative.
And then here Mike goes again. This is with a lead draw, and he just, again, makes people miss.
Well, I thought we mixed the run and the pass very well. We had some good play-action passes here. On the 1-yard line, a well-thrown football to Adrian Arrington, and now we're off to the start we wanted to be on.
Just 4.5 minutes into the game, and you've really taken the crowd out. Then defensively, this is key. Keeping this guy under control.
Well, I thought, you know, he got out a couple of times, but for the most part, our defense contained him, and when he did get outside, we had people chasing him, and so I thought we were very effective.
Had good field position. You go for it here on 4th and 1 on your side of the 50, and you got it.
Well, Jim, on the road, you know, you hate to punt the football, and we had confidence that we could make a yard, and Mike Hart did that, the people up front.
How about Jerome Jackson coming in to spell Mike Hart? He's really come on of late, hasn't he?
Well, I think he's gained everybody's confidence, and of course, he's a guy that's always has confidence in himself. And here, Chad makes an excellent throw to Adrian Arrington for a big first down that keeps the drive alive.
Then Mike Hart goes in, good block from Alibu. And Mike Hart goes in, and it's 14-0 after 2 possessions, just the way you wanted to start it.
Well, it is. And, you know, we came out with good intensity. We didn't have the penalties today that we had a week ago. Here is one of the plays that gets out of there. We let the ball outside. We miss a tackle in the backfield. But he's an elusive guy, and we did, thank goodness that was about the only time he got out on us.
You go to the second quarter, and this is, again, the quarterback making a good play on the run, keeps the drive alive, and this is their only scoring drive.
Well, the good news there is that we did lose contain, but we had the quarterback running away from the line of scrimmage. He made a good throw on a 4th down play. He hits Hardy, the guy 6'7", and but that was good coverage by Leon Hall.
You hold them to a field goal. It's 14-3 at this point. Then, big play, City, and what an unbelievable Saturday Steve Breaston had.
Well, you know, here we get very good protection. Chad can step up and find Breaston deep for a touchdown. And, you know, big plays really demoralize a defensive team, a team period. And so it was good to see Steve get open deep. And, of course, it was a team effort there. Good protection. Chad made a nice throw.
Defense continues to play hard. I tell you what, David Harris was everywhere on that field.
David Harris has been everywhere all fall, Jim, and of course that's a play that you've got to diagnose, and if you don't, it's a big play. But David found a way to get out and make the tackle on the screen.
You're up 21-3 and still pounding the ball with just under 5 minutes to go in the second half, and it looks like you're going to put more on the board here.
Well, this is a big play in the game. It's also a big play because Tyler Ecker's been out 5 or 6 weeks, and he's a big target, and it was great to get him back in there and back playing. Here, Chad makes really, he was 11 for 15. It's his only bad decision of the day. And they got good field position, and with 3 minutes to go, they got time.
And they're moving the ball down the field. They use these little passes to kind of get out of bounds, keep the clock stopped, and move the ball down the field.
Well, we're playing a lot of zone coverage, and he's dumping the ball in front of us, and here they come back with a quarterback draw. We ducked our head there and missed a tackle, but got him down, and then I've got another play to play and come up with good coverage down there, and he makes an overthrow. We get the interception. I think that was a big turning point in the game.
It really was a big turning point because you go off in halftime leading 21-3. Were you feeling good? I mean, you had to be feeling good about the game, but the interception in their drive kind of bothered you had a little bit going into the second half, didn't it?
Well, I thought we had really played well in the kicking game. Our coverage teams did an excellent job. The only play that bothered me is that we turned the football over because we were in field goal range. It was a 3rd down and long. We had trouble getting the drive going. But we gave up a scoring opportunity. That's the only thing, because I thought defensively we played very well.
The Wolverines did play well in the second half. They played well, too, and they put it away 34-3. We'll be back and see those highlights. But first, we hear from Jerome Jackson talking about offensive balance is really by design.
We practiced on that all week to have a great balance plan coming into this game, and that's what we did. We went out and executed the run game, the pass game, and we had fun out there today, so we got the job done.
We did our job, like I said. We had fun out there. You know what I'm saying? Getting pressure on the quarterback and let the back end do their job.
Tim Jamison, a great kid, Lloyd is just saying, and he had a great day, a big smile, wonderful personality.
Well, you know, he's one of those guys that has fun playing the game, and I think he helps everybody else have fun because he's just a guy that has great enthusiasm.
Talk to me about the second half now. As you go in, what was your message to the team taking the field with the 21-3 lead?
Well, we were playing well. We had control of the game. We needed to take the game out of their hands in the 3rd quarter, and we decided to kick the ball to Indiana, and our defense came up with a good stop to start the 3rd quarter.
They did indeed, and again, this is where good things happen. You stop them, they kick it to Steve Breaston, and this is the highlight of his day, and it was already a huge day.
Well, Rondell Biggs in that previous job did a great job containing. We had pressure up the middle. And right here, we talked all week about getting Steve loose, and our return team there did a great job.
And that makes it a 28-3 ball game, and boy, now you've got it under control. You can start playing some other players. But the one thing is the defense continues to start playing. This is David Harris. This is one of his best plays.
Well, David Harris, as we talked earlier, I think anybody that's followed Michigan football this fall, David has had just an outstanding season. and having his best season as a fifth-year senior.
Here's a great play by Henne. Under duress, sticks it right in there to Breaston for a big gain on third down.
Well, they get a linebacker free, and I'll tell you, Chad Henne's going to stand in there until the last minute. He's not distracted. He's tough and makes a big play on third down to keep the drive alive. And here's Jerome Jackson again running over the left side.
And here, he just runs through a safety.
Well, he gets his pads down and doesn't get knocked backwards there. If you're too high, and that's some of the problems that young backs have, they stay too high, they don't score that touchdown.
Got some kids in there now, and the defense never lets up.
Well, Brandon Graham has really developed into a guy that's a freshman that has really helped our defense and contributed a lot here in the latter part of the season.
Here's Jason Forcier at quarterback.
Well, at every opportunity you get, we fumble the football there, and we get a heads-up play by Lateral Savoy, who recovers a fumble.
And how about this, a running quarterback at Michigan?
Well, it's been a while, huh? No. Reese and Navarre and Brady, they wouldn't like me saying that.
That's right.
But Jason did a nice job there, Jim. That was a run-pass option. They dropped off in coverage. He ran for a first down, keeps the drive alive. Now we get another young guy in there, a guy that didn't get a chance to play as much this year, Carlos Brown. And then another number 4 in there.
It's not Brandon Minor. That's actually Darnell Hood, right?
Darnell Hood came here as a freshman.
Now tell the story about Darnell Hood and Fred Jackson.
Well, out of Bishop Gallagher High School, he was a tailback, and we moved him to cornerback, and he wanted to move. But earlier in this season, he came to Fred Jackson and our great backfield coach. He says, "Coach, just give me 1 carry this season." So I didn't know anything about it until last week. And, of course, last week we didn't get a chance to get him in. So
did
this
you know
week we did.
In the game Saturday that he was in there?
Well, yeah, because Fred had told me before the game, he said, Lloyd, you know, Darnell, I promised him I'd try to get him in there. So he got 2 carries in there today and looked pretty good.
And let's not forget that, you know, Darnell has been an outstanding special teams player his whole career, right?
Well, he's been a great team guy. He's going to get his degree. He's been successful here, and he's going to be successful when he leaves here.
Okay, that's 11 wins in a row. Let's wrap that up. Indiana, it's over now, right? Can we now talk about what's coming up?
Well, I think we've always talked about what's coming up. You know, you never, during the week, every season, or during the week of every season, you're always looking forward to this game. You're always doing some things to help prepare. So now, publicly, we've not talked a lot about it, but it's always there in front of you.
Well, believe me, this week, you're going to hear a lot about it because it's going to be all over the nation, number 1 versus number 2. We'll get to those Ohio State Buckeyes in just a minute. But first, we're going to meet Obi Olibo. Now we hear from David Harris, who says how you deal with a running quarterback.
We just came out with the game plan of stopping the scrambling quarterback. He's a great athlete, and when we had our chances, we let him outside couple plays, but as a defense, we played our game and limited them in what they wanted to do.
And members of Michigan's offensive ground attack is fullback Obi Olibo. He's one of the key guys in clearing the way for Mike Hart in the running game. Obi came to Michigan with his heart set on playing linebacker, though. But Coach Carr thought fullback was a better fit. For Obi, that was a tough switch to make.
When Coach Carr wanted to move me to fullback, it was like somebody punched me in my gut and took all the air out. It was like, you know, I was on a high cloud and he brought me down. But making the switch, I mean, I love making the switch. It got me on the field quicker. I'm playing, helping the team win games, and at the end of the day, I'm still hitting people, and that's what I love to do. Just go out there and just hit people. One thing I can say is I think I'm a fighter. I'm persistent, you know. I don't think it was going my way early on in my career, and I just knew that if I just keep fighting, that it'll work out in my favor one day, and I think it's paying dividends right now.
Olibo is of Nigerian descent and grew up in Washington, D.C. While he's never visited Nigeria, he still has family there, and they're very proud of him, even if they aren't completely sure what American football is all about.
some of my family members in Nigeria have seen some of the games, maybe on the TV. They say have seen me before. And I don't know, maybe my grandma might understand it a little bit, but I'm not sure. I have to ask my mom if she understands it fully. And my mom always gives them an update about how I'm doing and, you know, what school I'm at and the football I'm playing, and they're just proud of me. They might not fully understand what I'm doing, but as long as it's good and I'm out of trouble, they love it.
Obi clearly loves it too. He's a big part of an excellent team, and he loves everything about Michigan. His love affair started the minute he stepped on campus for his first visit.
The environment is different. I'm from D.C. and I'm just more urban. I just like the rural environment about everything, and just the family atmosphere around the football team and just the academics, everything about Michigan. It was new. It was a new experience for me, so I liked everything about it. Stood out.
Well, and everything about Obi Alibo has stood out, hasn't it? He's just a solid guy.
You know, that move to fullback, he fought. He didn't like it. He wasn't happy. And I think in the transition there, I've come to really admire him. I love that kid. Comes from a great family, Episcopal High School, Washington, D.C. His father came in with a visit, and there was no doubt his father knew Michigan. He knew the academics, and that's really what sold him. And Obi Alibo is going to leave here as being an outstanding football player. I think he has a chance to play in the future.
I'll tell you what, he is a great blocking fullback, and somebody on Sundays may have him playing for him. When we come back, we'll scout those Buckeyes. We'll talk about it, okay? But first, we hear from Steve Breston. Just how big is next week, Steve?
Everything's out there for us, and what it comes down to is just a one-game season right now. You know, we play all these games just to have a one-game season, and you know, we have a great opponent in front of us. So, I mean, you can't ask for nothing better.
Inside the locker room.
We got to go out there and play our best game, and we got to practice. We got to get better this week, and that's our goal.
Well, clearly it's going to be a great football game. Michigan versus Ohio State. The entire country has been waiting for this one. The countdown started six weeks ago.
They look forward to it every year, but there is some extra things. Of course, the Big Ten championship and on the line, and that's the way we like it.
That's what's gotten lost in this whole thing, isn't it? Yeah. It's all this national championship and stuff. This is for the Big Ten title.
Well, yes, it is, and a chance to win the national championship.
There you go.
There's enough riding on it, Jim.
Well, when you look at this Ohio State team, this guy for 2 years in a row has caused you problems, Troy Smith.
Well, he certainly has, and he's surrounded by a lot of outstanding football players.
Running back Antonio Pittman, they can still run the football, averaging nearly 5 yards a carry.
Well, this guy's an excellent player, a guy that runs hard, very physical, and a guy that does a lot of things for him besides just carry the ball.
And two receivers, really, I think, that are their go-to guys. Ted Ginn Jr., big play guy. But this Anthony Gonzalez, in my judgment anyway, is an unbelievable playmaker.
Well, he's certainly had an unbelievable season. He's stepped in and stepped up. I mean, a year ago, he played an important role, and that has increased this year. But defensively, that's where they've replaced 9 starters, and they're statistically, I think, a better defense even than they were a year ago.
And that really is hard to believe, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, it says a lot for their recruiting. It says a lot for the guys that have come back and done the things they've been asked to do.
Well, Ohio State comes into the game, of course, unbeaten. There's all of the attention surrounding the game that you'll be inundated with for a week. How much of that is a distraction?
Well, I think you have to be able to, when you're getting ready to meet, when you're going out to practice, when you're down there studying film, you've got to be focused on trying to learn the game plan and get ready to play. But there's also a part of this thing that you want to enjoy.
Yeah, you want to celebrate the moment.
There's no question, because that's part of what this whole rivalry is about. There's going to be a lot of articles written, a lot of features done about former players, there'll be talk about the great games. You played in some of those. And so all of that, immerses the whole team, the coaches, everybody in the tradition of the game.
Okay, in 30 seconds. Keys from an X's and O's standpoint. I've always said turnovers in big games make a difference in special teams.
Well, I think preparation, that's where it begins. And certainly you got to be able to take the game plan, know it, and go down and play our best game.
And manage Troy Smith.
Well, I think there's no question, but they have a lot of weapons. We gotta have a plan, and then our guys have got to execute that plan.
Well, it's going to be great, Lloyd. I wish you all the best. It's going to be fun. No matter what happens, it's been an unbelievable year, and we look for it to continue.
Well, thank you, Jim.
And we hope you're here next week as we'll talk about it all. Michigan versus Ohio State, 1 versus 2, the next game of the century. Don't miss any of it. Right here next week, same time, same place on Michigan Replay.
Michigan Replay has been brought to you